Did you ever hear about the time the US kidnapped Nazi scientists and made them secretly help the US government develop high-tech war tools? In the spring of 1945, a Polish technician had taken a break to use the bathroom, and as he went to sit down, he saw a piece of paper stuffed in the toilet seat. Picking it up, he realized it was a list containing a large number of German names, 1 month before the end of the German occupancy in Poland. Seeing the potential intelligence, he rushed to an embassy and had given the list to the United Kingdom's Secret Intelligence Service, otherwise known as MI6. MI6, and subsequently the US government, identified this list as names of technical experts to include mathematicians, scientists, and engineers who served in Nazi Germany, even those working under the head of the Nazi Biological Warfare Department, Kurt Blum, experimenting on prisoners with nerve gas and diseases like malaria, yellow fever, and typhus. The US government decided that these people would be of more use under careful watch than fleeing to a Nazi-sympathized state. In Operation Safe Haven, a secret camp and a number of villages were set up to house those the US captured and their families. One such camp was in the town of Landshut in southern Germany. This was meant to be the scientists' family's home so they wouldn't try to help the Nazis reform the Reich. But a chief in the research and intelligence branch of the U.S. Army's Ordnance Corps, Major Robert B. Staver, and other officers began putting paper clips on the tops of Nazi scientists' folder files. A dark cabinet, a simple paperclip attached to the top of manila envelopes, was a way to tell other officers that these were the Germans that were capable of developing missile weaponry for the US, based on their work with the secret high-tech Nazi missile codenamed the V-2. This began Operation Overcast, but the codename was leaked because the scientists called the camp at Landshut Overcast, so the Missile Corps decided a name change was necessary. Operation Paperclip. At this point, Nazi Germany had fallen, but the US wanted their technology, and they were going to do whatever they needed to do to get it. In August of 1945, Colonel Holger Tofte, in the same department as Major Staver, offered a choice to the scientists at Camp Overcast: either stay in a crumbling Germany, or take a 1-year contract in America, working on their field of expertise. In 1945, 127 scientists accepted to join the Army. Rocket scientists were moved to Long Island, Texas, New Mexico, and even Louisiana, but the largest number of Nazis worked under the United States Air Force. And between 1945 and 1952, the Air Force had employed 260 Nazi scientists, including one Walter Schreiber. Walter Schreiber had escaped from being a prisoner from the Soviet Union with his family and had arrived in New York in September of 1951. The ship logs that he was on do not refer to any travel documents for him, only that he and his family were paper clips. The New York Times had caught wind that a Nazi scientist had landed and was working in the US Air Force, and in October set to work investigating. At Beth Israel Hospital in Boston, a New York Times reporter had just walked into a patient's room, armed with a photo of Mr. Schreiber. You see, Walter Schreiber was linked to the human experiments done under Kurt Blum, who was, at this point, now employed under another secret chemical warfare project. Kurt Blum was rolled under a successor project, Project 63, and a declassified CIA document shows that top flight scientists would be employed by the US government, or, if they can't be employed by the US government, would be employed by private organizations. Blome was pulled to assist the US government in making chemical warfare weapons, of which was illegal as per the Geneva Conventions. There is a never declassified project under Blome's case file named Project 1975. As per the book Operation Paperclip, the secret intelligence program that brought Nazi scientists to America, Blome had almost exclusive expertise in the world of biochemical warfare, so one can only imagine what he worked on in Project 1975. Neither the patient nor Kurt Bloom knew each other existed, but Kurt Bloom was known for his travesties in Germany. The patient was a victim of one of those Nazi experiments. The reporter sat down next to patient Janina Iwanska and showed her Mr. Schreiber. She recognized him as being there during the experiments. Schreiber denies ever being at the concentration camp the patient was at. Schreiber decided not to renew his contract with the Air Force, and the US moved him to Argentina, where he died of a heart attack in 1970. This was just one of many Nazi scientists, totaling 1,600, who assisted the US and UK governments in many programs, who also worked on experiments on humans under the rule of the Reich.